Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Soul Rising podcast. We are all in on love, loss, and connection. My name is Amanda McCoy Flanagan. I am your host. Welcome back to the show. I am so glad that you have chosen to join me today. If this is your first time here, awesome. Welcome. I'm so glad that you found me and my wonderful guests. We are on season 4 now, and this is awesome. So if you're new here, go back and check out the first 3 seasons. It just keeps getting better. Today, I'd like to bring you my friend Amanda Riffee. You have 2 Amandas here today. You got Amanda Squared. It's awesome. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this amazing woman, and then I'm going to turn it over to her to tell you a little bit about her story and why she does the work that she does. So Amanda Riffee is a best-selling author, internationally certified expansion and empowerment coach, speaker, and thought leader dedicated to helping ambitious women turn their boldest dreams into reality. Drawing on 18 years of corporate experience, a deep passion for mindset mastery, and the lessons learned from scaling her own business, Amanda specializes in guiding women to create transformational events, write and launch their own books, make courageous career moves, and bring their visions to life without burnout or sacrificing who they are. Her debut book, Unleashing You, congratulations, quickly became a bestseller, like in pre-order time, like that. I don't know how you did that, but that's amazing. And serves as a rallying cry for women ready to stop waiting for permission and start creating success on their own terms. Through her writing, coaching, and retreats, Amanda empowers women to trust their intuition, own their brilliance, and take bold, aligned action toward the lives they were meant to lead. She also hosts the Unleashing You podcast, where she shares candid insight and inspiration for women stepping into their next level. She is a mom of 2 boys, right?
Yep.
She's married, lives in Colorado, and believes deeply in community and collaboration. And I love this. Her mission is simple. When women open doors for one another, there's room for all of us at the top. So true. So, hi, Amanda. Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm excited for Amanda Squared.
So why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself, your story, why you're so passionate, what kind of drove you to do the work that you're doing?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, I spent 18 years in corporate, and I was a corporate girl through and through, because not only was it 18 years in corporate America, but it was 17 of those with the same company. So I was a very, very loyal corporate girl. And I honestly thought that that was exactly what I wanted to do. I dreamed of being in the C-suite. I, dreamed of continuing to climb that corporate ladder. And while I was dreaming of being in the C-suite, I was secretly wondering what it was going to cost me to get there. And I hadn't seen a ton of representation of women who were at that level, who had the balance that I craved, the family, the marriage, all of the things. And so that was kind of like whispering to me in the back of my mind. But it was September of 2022 when I was just feeling this pull. I was in a corporate leadership role, really liking my job, loving my team, but it had gotten to a point where it was like, just really kind of felt like I was just doing the same things over and over again. And it just wasn't lighting me up in the way that it used to. And so I was reading a book at the time. It's called Money, A Love Story by Kate Northrup. And that gave me enough of like a whisper of an idea. Like, maybe while everything's going good at work, this could be your opportunity to like start something on the side or bring in another stream of income for yourself. And so I took that idea and I ran with it. I figured out, like, by looking at my calendar, hey, like, what are the parts of my job that I actually really love? Like, what are the things that I look forward to every single day? And then what are like the meetings and projects that I'm working on that I secretly hope get canceled? The part that I don't love about my job. And what came out of that were the things I really loved were my one-on-ones with my team. I loved the career growth conversations, the personal growth, the safe space that we created in that environment. Just watching them grow and excel just lit me up. And then I was also really involved in our employee resource groups. So I was literally in all of them. I was in the Pride group, the women's group, the African Heritage group, all of them, because I just really believed in that message, that feeling of community, feeling like we were working on something that had a bigger purpose than what we would do in our normal day-to-day jobs. And so I was like, okay, those are the things that really light me up, but that's cool. But like, how do I make that into a job? That I had no idea what to do. So I actually went to Google, and this was before ChatGPT, which now I would have gone to ChatGPT before AI. And I went to Google and I was like, okay, here, what can I do with this? And just followed every curiosity, every rabbit hole, clicked on all the things. And I couldn't even tell you what search it was that brought this up, but one of the things that I searched brought me to coaching. And then I was like, okay. And I started learning more about it and I started going deeper. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I think I found the thing that checks all the boxes. And so even at the time, I was like, well, I could get, 1 to 2 clients here or there and keep my corporate career, do this just when we, want some extra income. And I went to my husband and was like, hey, I think I want to get certified as a coach. I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere, but like, I feel like this could be a cool next step. And luckily, he supports all my wild and crazy dreams, even if it doesn't always get them right away.
Husband, yay.
He's a good husband, yes. And he's like, go do what you got to do, whatever. And so I enrolled in a coaching certification. And I mean, only just weeks into getting coached myself for the first time while also learning the coaching tools, I started just dreaming so much bigger for myself than I ever had before. And I realized that I was putting myself in a box before of thinking like, oh, okay, I could get my boss's job or move to this team or this department. When really, like, I could speak on stages, I could start a podcast, I could write a book, I could do all of these things. And all of a sudden, things started seeming much more possible for me than they ever had before. That was, again, September of 2022 when I enrolled in the coaching certification and opened up my LLC. And, fast forward to today, now I have a best-selling book, I have a podcast, I have events, I have retreats, like all of the things. And that to me is the power of doing this work and the power of coaching. And that's really where it was born of like who I was designed to work with, which are women like me who have bigger dreams, but maybe we just don't realize what's actually possible or how to do it or how to get, our mindset in the right place, how to do that inner work. And so now that's who I work with on a day-to-day basis. And I'm like, holy crap. Like, these are like dreams coming true.
It's amazing. And I love that you've taken what you know, right? I think that's wise and makes the most sense. You're attracting the clients that are like you because you're on the same wave on some level. You can give them what they're looking for because you've been there. And I think that's how this whole thing works, that we have these natural gifts and these abilities and these things inside to share to help people who are like us. And you wouldn't probably be as good at what you do if you didn't have that, right? Learn anything.
Yeah.
You embody it. Like it is you and you feel that.
Yeah. And that's so true because one of the things that they teach you in coaching that I had a little internal battle with was like, to be a good coach, you don't have to have walked that path for someone to be able to coach someone. And I don't disagree with that because really, truly coaching is grounded in asking curious questions, right? Bringing out those things from within the person that you're working with. And so when I first got into this, I was thinking like, okay, like I just really need to lead from a coaching perspective. And what I didn't realize was that people were gravitating to me because of my story, because I had walked in that path before. And so now I'd say what I do is a blend of coaching and mentorship. And that's what I think is important to call out because a coach doesn't just like tell you what to do, right? Like here's what you should do. A mentor, right, has been there and can help with that. But I think that's important for anyone who is looking for a coach or a mentor or whatever, is to really look at that and say, number one, do they lead with true coaching practices? Because in that case, the answers are going to come from within you, not from within the coach.
Yes.
But if you are also looking for a mentor, somebody who can share some of the strategy and the lessons learned and that sort of thing, like those are two different things, but a lot of times we can blend the two in our practices as well. But yeah, that's what I didn't realize was how powerful our own stories were at first.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody reads your book, reads your story, and sees themselves in you. And really, they come to you because, on some level, I think they want what you have. They're attracted, maybe on a subconscious level, to the confidence, to the wherewithal, to the knowledge, the experience. They want some of that. So yes, coaching is not about telling people what to do. I mean, it's not. And that's the beauty of coaching. It's really cool because it's truly empowering. It's truly empowering because your client is doing it for themselves. You're not doing it for them, right? And that's so, it has staying power. That's lasting because if they feel empowered, they feel in control of their life. Because you could tell somebody something till you're blue in the face, but if it's not emanating from themselves, they're not going to run with it and do with it what will serve them best. It's almost like, okay, she told me how to do that, but I don't really know how to do that. It's what's got to come from within. So yeah, that's really super cool. So tell us about your book. And I know that you talk a lot about being able to achieve high levels of success without experiencing burnout. How do we do that? How do we find that, I guess, balance? I'm assuming has to be part of it, but why don't you tell me?
Yeah. So thank you. So the book is called Unleashing You, and I created it to be a guidebook, to your point, to bring out the answers from within yourself. So I share my own personal stories, my client stories with their identity and names changed in there. So you can see how we've done this, but then in each chapter also brings out a lesson learned in each one and has an actionable coaching exercise that you can go through to bring out the answers from within yourself. So now you're taking it from just like, oh, I'm listening to her, I'm reading it, and that sounds good. That's really inspiring, but really bringing it to your own life and to your own career. And that was really, really important to me when I wrote this book, was to make it actionable. Because to your point, you could read something or someone could be like, okay, here's what I've done all day long till you're blue in the face. But until you really relate it to your own life, until you go through and discover what you want to do, it's not going to stick the same way. So that is why I created it the way that I did. And every chapter is really laid out on purpose to walk through how I have created the career and the life that I have created. So it comes from a multitude of different things. But what I think it boils down to is mindset. So you'll hear a lot. I mean, the whole book, honestly, is probably about mindset. But I dig in a lot around limiting beliefs, the beliefs that we hold that are absolutely holding us back. But most of the time we don't see it. We think that they're truths and not beliefs because there's something we believe for so long that we now just take it and think that this is true. So that's a huge piece to it. Listening to our own intuition is another really big piece that I dive into. Of course, protecting your energy, boundaries, all the things. I'd say the last one would be around fast action. I am big on fast aligned action. And I always want to emphasize the aligned piece because, we're not just out there doing crazy things all the time, following every whim. But when you can partner that up with your intuition and what that feels like for you, what a heck yes feels like, what a heck no feels like, and then take a small action quickly while you're excited about it, before the fear jumps in, all the things, that to me has been such a game changer in being able to create all the things that I've been able to create, is because I don't overthink it and I just do it while I'm feeling lit up about it, and things go, number one, a lot faster. Number two, you've already started taking action before you start talking yourself out of it. And there's of course so much more that goes into it, but I think just bringing all of those pieces together is really, to me, the blueprint of how I've been able to create what I've been able to create so far.
That's amazing. How did you tell us, come to hone the skill? Because it feels like a skill to me to tap in, to tune in to your intuition, and to understand what that heck yes feels like and that heck no. Do you feel it in your body? How do you do it?
Yeah. Okay. So for everyone, it is going to be different.
Yeah.
So I can absolutely share what it feels like and sounds like to me. But to your point, and you know this, like you do have to tap into your own body and really get quiet. And we can go through some examples of how to do that. But when I think back, when I first, I mean, so many of this happened to me before, but it just really got amplified when I opened my own business, which I think most of us realize after the fact is like, oh, this is a big personal growth journey, you know, being an entrepreneur. So when I first opened my business, I was always somebody who thought I needed to prepare and plan and know all the things before I did it. I wanted to learn it all. I wanted to know it all. I wanted to be certified, expert, you know, confident, all those things. Then I'll take the action. Then I'll do it. And from the very first day of my coaching certification, they started talking about getting practice clients soon. Like, okay, you're going to need some clients to coach. And I was like, excuse me, I thought we get the certification and then we start coaching people. And they're like, no, that's how you get the certification, is by getting enough coaching hours to coach people. And we're going to teach you the tools along the way and all the stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. So that was like my first test around, this isn't going to work, Amanda. I'm not going to be able to just stay in learning mode until you have to do this. And so that was probably the first time that I was then kind of pushed out of that comfort zone. And I started to see the results that I was able to create from that. And so I started to gain evidence. And then I started to really pay attention to, okay, when are the times that maybe feel scary because they're definitely at my edge like that, but they still felt really good. And that was intuition. So like, for example, even in my first story, when I said to my husband, like, I don't know where this is going to go. It might go nowhere, you know, but I think I want to get certified as a coach. That was my intuition speaking to me, even though it felt terrifying to invest thousands of dollars to, you know, who knows where this is going to go, but it was my intuition. And so for me, it feels like I get like a tiny whisper of an idea. Like, and I can't explain it other than that. It's like a tiny whisper of an idea, like a little thought that's like, what about this? Or what about that? And then it starts to feel like full body. I can't stop thinking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, what about that? Like, I want to know more about it. I'm like, it feels full body for me. And then after that comes the fear. So I always have to listen to, okay, what was my initial reaction to this? Because if it's scary enough, which it normally is, the fear is going to come next. And then it's going to be like, why you shouldn't do it. That's too expensive, this, that, you know, all the things. But for me, it starts with a whisper of an idea and then a full body, like, you can't, like, it's like, it won't go away. It won't go away until you do something about it. And so for other people, you might feel it in your stomach. You might feel as like a gut reaction to something. It might feel like a full body, hell yes or hell no. You can just tell in yourself. A good practice to do is to go back to similar to what I just did and think about your own story, your own life, your own career. When were the times that you took a risk and you did something and it worked out? Like for me, it could have also been moving to Colorado from Missouri was very scary. We had 2 small kids, you know, our family was like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Like, we had a good life there, but there was something that just felt in me like this is the next right step, even though it felt really scary. So think back to those times for yourself and get really quiet and just be like, oh, how did this show up for me? How did I know that this was what I was supposed to do? And then you can also do the opposite of the times where you were like, I knew I shouldn't have done that. Why did I do that? Oh my gosh, that was such a stupid idea, whatever it was. And then really tune into your body of how did that feel? Because I bet those two feelings felt different. And they might be very subtle at at first, but when you can start to identify that, that is, I mean, that's like the secret in your body of, did I not do this? How does that intuition feel?
The word that's coming to my mind is alive. Like, I know when I get that little knowing, that little download, that intuitive hit of like, okay, yeah, that's what you should do. Or, and sometimes it's like a sensing for a while until it really comes up from, because it's in our subconscious at first, right? Like,
Yes.
body knows we want to do this thing before we even know that we want to do this thing. And then when it actually comes to the surface, it makes me feel like lit up, right? Just like alive, just like more like, it's hard to describe, but it almost feels like my cells are like expanding. There's some kind of feeling, right? And then when it's the no, it feels to me like a constricting, or it's just a knowing. And I think it just takes time to practice to like really feel it and feel it quickly. So I love that you talked about how the fear settles in shortly after, because I think there may be a misconception of, I'm always supposed to have that alive feeling. It's always supposed to be great. And I should coast on that and sail on that. And that should be from start to finish. That's not the way it is.
No.
Right?
No. It's never been like that for me.
Yeah. Like, it just feels like that's just naturally part of the process. And I think that's almost our inner, like, checkpoints, kind of like, okay, let me like go down this and, gauge it. We're human beings, so this whole like fearless thing, I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like it's almost against our humanity. Like, we have fear in our brains. We had it way back when caveman times, right? To keep us safe, all that.
Yep.
So it's not going away. It's how do we use it when it comes. How do we pull those fears? How do we put them in check? How do we put things in perspective and say, okay, I'm making that. Is that legitimate? Or is that me getting in my own way?
Totally. And to that point, I'm wearing long sleeves today, but I largely have tattooed on my arm, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
For that exact reason, because I have not witnessed this and I don't know anyone else that has, where the fear just goes away. Like, the fear doesn't go away. It just needs to come along for the ride. If you've read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, she has a really great, there's like a whole chapter on this, that a really great example of fear. And she's like, fear's not going away. But think if you were taking a road trip with your fear. Fear is not allowed to be in the driver's seat. Fear is not allowed to touch the radio. They're not allowed to run the GPS. They're not allowed to do anything, but they can go on the road trip, but they can be the passenger princess, right? Like, they can be the one just sitting there along for the ride, but you are driving the car. You are choosing the direction that you're going. I think that's just to me, is like such a great visual of how we utilize that relationship with fear. And now I almost welcome it, because that tells me that I'm doing something new. I'm doing something that's going to grow me. Something that's going to stretch me. Because the fear, to your point, is only showing up because we're doing something that we haven't done before, or that we're doing something that feels too stretchy. And so it's our body's way of keeping us safe and being like, oh, nope, that's scary. That's unknown. We're going back to the comfort zone. And so when you can choose to feel the fear and do it anyway, that's when you're going to create the career in life that you really want.
It doesn't have to stunt me. It can actually push me forward, because I don't want that fear to win. It's not.
Yeah.
It's win. It's not. It's like, okay, I see you and you're not going to win. And I'm going to have to step into that comfort zone, that outside of that, to then feel comfortable in the next, space.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you. I'm glad that you have that tattooed on your arm and that you're a fan of that too, because I'm just not sure that it's realistic, or like you're saying, you welcome it. I don't think it's really smart for it to go away. Just like my anxiety, and they're totally connected, right? Fear and anxiety. You don't want to let it, like you're saying, ride shotgun and call the shots, but like, it's there as okay, like, where do I need to grow? What
Yep.
is this causing me discomfort?
Yeah, absolutely.
All the time. Where would I grow?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, just this past weekend, I was doing some inner work and I was like, okay, hold on. Like, this is bothering me a lot more than it should. I can feel the anxiety starting to rise. Like, so there's something my body is trying to tell me here. And that's, to your point, it's like a big pointing arrow to the next layer of personal growth work that we still have to uncover. And so I was like, okay, now, thank you for showing that to me. And now, now I know where to go from here. But you're totally right. It's not going to go away.
And you've mentioned something twice now about curiosity. And I want to talk a little bit about that. What kinds of questions do you think that we should be asking when that fear comes up, or the self-doubt or limiting beliefs?
Oh, yeah, that's so good. So I always encourage us to challenge the current thought pattern, right? Because to your point, if there's a limiting belief that's surfacing, if there's fear that's surfacing, whatever it is, it's trying to show us something. So just get curious about, what is it? What is this trying to tell me? What is this trying to show me? The funny thing about limiting beliefs is sometimes they are hard to recognize for ourselves. So you almost need an accountability buddy for that one, because most of the time we honestly think it is truth.
Yeah.
Like, it's our blind spot, and there are blind spots for a reason, so we cannot see them. And so sometimes it helps to speak it out loud to somebody else, and or utilize a coach or a therapist or something like that too, to talk it through, because they're trained to be able to see those types of patterns.
Mm-hmm.
But if nothing else, even with a friend or even out loud, this is a great example of, one of the times I was getting ready to invest in like a mastermind type of program for my business. And it was the most money I had spent yet. It was, I had all these logical reasons, all this fear that was coming up. But at first I was really excited about it. And I was like, okay. And again, this was back before I had figured out this formula for myself. But I was first excited about it. Then I was talking myself out of it. And I was like, what should I do? What should I do? Okay, let me text my friend who's really intuitive. She's, she knows all the things. She'll like channel my spirit guides. She'll tell me what to do.
Uh-huh.
And as I was typing out this text to her, very long paragraphs of text. And before I hit send, I went back to reread it. And I was like, Amanda, you know what to do. You can tell by the way I wrote it unintentionally that I was not asking for her to channel my spirit guides and see what I should do. I was asking for her to say, yes, you should do it. And so I think it's things like that when you start to say it out loud or you say it to someone else, you start to hear it and see it in a different light than what you did originally when it was in your head. So that would, to me, be the biggest thing, is get curious, ask, what is this trying to show me? And then if you're struggling to identify some of that stuff, just speak it out loud. Even if you're voice recording it to yourself or sending it to a friend or working with a coach, it's gonna tell you a lot.
Yeah. So when people talk, I'm listening to you, I always get like a phrase or a word, like I said before, I felt like alive. What that feels like to me is shining light on it, right? Like giving air, you're bringing it up and letting it out. And there's a phrase that we say in recovery, and I actually didn't understand it for a long time. And now I'm like, how did I not understand that? But the phrase is, there's more room on the outside. So what that means is whatever we're thinking here, like we're kind of keeping that same story going, and it's internal. And then when we let it out, we have all this space to get curious, to see it in a different light, to see it from different angles. Sharing it with somebody's huge, right? And it feels different. You probably recommend journaling as one of, that's always helpful. I know for me, I could start journaling and just be like totally crazy or in this terrible space. I'm mad, I'm scared, I'm this, I'm that. And then something happens like halfway through. I don't know. Maybe it's spirit, my higher self. I don't know what it is. Something shows up and gives me some clarity, and it shifts. And by the end of it, I'm like, I kind of have somewhat of a solution, or at least I'm moving toward that shift in mindset. So Yeah, shining light on it, giving voice to it, just putting it out there, it changes. I love that.
Mm.
Good example about the text. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, yeah. And I was just thinking too, of a client that I had that's in a group program that I'm doing. And just like last week, she was struggling with a decision that she needed to make. And so she sent a voice note in the group of like, okay, here's the situation, blah, blah, blah. And was like, what should I do? And I responded back and I said, number one, you're the only one that can make that decision. Like, we can't make the decision for you. I said, what I would recommend is you go back and you listen to that voice note. And I bet you'll be able to pick out what you truly want to do. Because you could tell by the way she worded it subconsciously as she was talking. I was like, go back and listen to your own words. And she came back, she goes, oh my gosh, I know exactly what to do. Just listen to my own words again. I gave her no guidance and she went back and did. So I think that's so good. The other thing that I would say too, if anyone is, because I was definitely this person with journaling. Now I freaking love journaling. But at first, it felt intimidating to me. It was like blank page. What do I write? I don't even know. What helped me a lot too was to go through and do like a guided meditation or a visualization even before opening up my journal. And then journaling on whatever came up for me in that visualization. Because then it was something that like somebody was walking me through, things came up to your point. And so if anyone, that could be a tip too for anyone who maybe feels adverse to journaling and just scared of it. But you're so right. Just the other day, I was journaling on something and about halfway through, my words started to change. So like at first I was saying like, I, this, I, that. It was all in the first person. And then about halfway through, I didn't even realize it, but I started writing the word you. Like, you are meant to do this, this, and this. And I was like, whoa, okay. So then when I looked back at it, I was like, you, to your point, you could totally see where it changed. And it was just like my answers were all right there.
That's happened to me too. Thanks for reminding me of that.
Yes.
That's happened. And I'm like, am I crazy? I
don't even realize that is how you just wrote that.
I'm like, is somebody speaking to me? Am I speaking, my spirit speaking to me? It was like, it's crazy.
So wild.
I know, but I love it. I love all of this stuff. I love tapping in, tuning in. All the answers are from within. If we could just out of our own way. It's just, it's all very simple. Well, we complicate so much of it.
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about connection, collaboration, community. How do you use that in, first, I guess, your own personal journey, not with clients or anything? I think I'm more curious about how that's showing up for you in your own life as you're achieving these greater heights.
Yeah. And it's so wild because as we're talking about messages and intuition and all the things, and I didn't know you were going to ask me that question. I've been planning the message for my second book, and that's the message. My second book is what you just said. And I'm like, wow, that's really affirming that it's what you just said is
kind of known to be a little bit psychic. So,
right? I was like, what? Like the signs are signing. Yeah. Community
thing. I've never heard that. Signs are signing. I love that. Cool.
Yeah, community, sisterhood, network, like it is so important to me. And I have a chapter on this in my book, but I'm so passionate about it that I'm literally thinking about writing my next book just on this topic because I would have given up by now. I would have not been doing this career. I would have gone back to corporate. I would be probably living my old life if I hadn't had the people in my world to lean on and borrow the confidence in myself on the days I didn't have it. So I think it's so important to, surround yourself with community and sisterhood and all of the things. It's also really important to be selective in who that is. Because when you are growing a dream, when you are doing something new, for all the reasons we just said, right? Like it takes nothing for someone to talk you right out of it. Because you already want to talk yourself out of it. Just seeing all of the courage that you have in your body to do this thing. and the very loving person who, might have your best interests at just wants the best for you, trying to keep you safe, asking like, well, yeah, but what are you going to do if that fails? Or that's not really that great of an idea. Or, well, don't you think you should have a backup plan? Or don't you think you should do it this way? All seeps into you. And so when you have something that is new and fragile, it's even more important to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people who are going to help bring that dream to life with you, that are going to be that support, that are going to have the confidence in you on the days that you don't have it. Because some days you're going to feel super lit up. Some days you're going to want to quit. And that's the times where you can lean on your squad, lean on your community, lean on your people to help remind you of like, yeah, that's why you're doing this. This is important. You're meant for this. And then not only that, but just the collaborations, the doors that have opened, the opportunities that I've been, able to get in front of that I just would not have had if I tried to go at it alone. So I think whether it's starting your own business, whether it's writing a book, whatever it might be, find the people that are going to support you and lift you up, because that is going to be the golden ticket, because there's only so much that you can do yourself.
Yeah. It takes a village. Everything takes a village, and trying to go it alone in anything. Yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot of us are very capable. We probably could achieve and do great things on our own, but we don't have to. And why would we? If I'm telling somebody about something I'm doing, they'll then chime in and give their idea or offer some kind of their own wisdom. And then it sparks me to then go in another direction, not a different direction, but just take, add to it. It expands my idea or whatever, or I see it on a higher plane or a different level. So yes, we get to choose who we want in our life for all the different things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Parenting, there's people we can turn to, and what I've also been like leaning into lately is surrounding myself or seeking out people, right, that have what I want. Like not to keep myself in a pool of people that are just where I'm at, right? If I want more success, I have to hang out with people and be around those people that have that success so that I can learn from them and do what they do. Another phrase in recovery is like when we're choosing a sponsor, find somebody who has what you want. And then in recovery in general, we say, you want what I have, do what I do. We don't necessarily need to reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of people that have gone before us and have had great success. And if we could just learn from them and humble ourselves, right? And say, I know the answers.
Yeah.
Supposed to. I always say that's why there's 8 billion of us on the planet. We're supposed to be learning and growing together, and these stepping stones, and I raise you up, and then somebody raises me. It's just how it works. So
yes.
Connection is so huge.
It really is. And the other thing I would add too, when you said about the importance of getting in rooms with people who have what you aspire to have, I could not agree with you more. And I think the other thing it also does is it starts to normalize it. Because, if we say like, oh, I want to be a millionaire, but you don't know a single millionaire, it's like that seems so unattainable. Great. Right. But then when you surround yourself with millionaires, you're like, okay, like I can do this. This is normal now. Like,
Sure. Totally.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit, because we're almost at the end here. Tell us a little bit about maybe a couple of tips to keep growing on this ladder, climbing the ladder without experiencing that burnout. Because a lot of us are our age. Right? I don't know. You a 1980 baby? I think we're the same.
84.
80. Oh, you're a little younger than me. Okay. Good.
Close enough, though. We're in our 40s, so
we're the same. I straddle both generations. So, a lot of us have kids, right? A lot of us have a lot of other responsibilities other than focusing on our work all the time. How do we find that balance? How do we not get burnt out? How do we keep going?
Yeah. So I talk about this because I have had my own, like so many cycles of burnout myself. And so I've learned through experience, and I am by no means perfect. My husband will tell you, by no means perfect. And because that's the beauty of a partner, right? Like they get to see all the things.
Oh, yeah.
But I think what helped me so much is working with my energy cycles, which we could just do a whole conversation on that. So for females, we have around a 28-day energy cycle. So if you're interested in that, you can look that up a little bit more. But I use the time that I am most primed to do certain activities for that. So like I protect my most creative times of the day. For me, that's morning. I have different weeks of the month that I am more creative and more productive. So I plan by that. I use those things to help me be most efficient in what I'm doing because my body is already primed for that type of task. So there's certain times where, I'm just like, okay, let me get that whole to-do list done. There's certain times where I'm like, let me create a bunch of content or, create this new offer or whatever it is. So I use those energy cycles. Setting boundaries is really, really big. Like we've got to set boundaries with our time, with our energy. We have to learn how to say no to things. If it's not a heck yes, it's a heck no. Like sometimes it just has to be that way. And I don't say that lightly because I am a recovering people pleaser, 100%. So I think there's just so many things that we can do, but what it really comes down to is protecting our energy and protecting our time. And every time that I have been like spiraling in burnout, it's been because I've let those things go. I've let work totally take over. I'm not listening to what my body's telling me anymore. Like we have so much control over those things. It's sometimes we don't realize that we do.
For sure. So I like that you brought up the cycle syncing because I actually have a show for listeners. Go back and look. Season 2 with Hope Pedraza is her name. And she talks all about that. And it was, I'd heard of it here and there, but she really taught me about the different phases and what I should be doing or not doing. And we're allowed to do that. We don't have to feel this pressure. Nothing's going to burn all the way to the ground if we put something off for a few days.
Right.
So many of us, myself, I can speak for myself. I feel a lot of pressure and I'm like, I got to do it now. I got to do it now, right? That speaks to the whole people pleasing thing, the codependency thing, that I have to make a move. It's anxiety really is what pushes all of that. There are certain parts of days in my cycle where I am feeling more anxious than others. And I shouldn't be making moves on those days. Like I should not trust that. And I should say like, we're very big on this whole trusting ourselves. My book is called Trust Yourself to Be All In. Like I'm all, wow. Well, like sometimes I always say too, don't trust every feeling, everything you feel, everything you think. And I think you touched on this earlier. You said something, I think, to this point of like, sit on it, give it some time, let it breathe before you take that action. So the fast action was interesting too. I wanted to ask that too about like how fast are we talking? I'm sure that's different for everybody and the situation, right?
Yep.
What's your typical time span between you get a thought and then you take and the small action? I like how you said.
Yes. I'm huge on small action.
Love it.
It's just moving you one step closer to what you want to create. Because so many times it's something really big. And so we create this like huge barrier thinking like, oh, it's just going to take so much to create this thing. So then we don't do anything with it. We never do anything. So when I was first creating like my first event and I was like, okay, this is a huge, this, could feel really daunting. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never created an event before. I have no idea how to do this. And so I worked with my coach and she's like, okay, let's break it down. What are the first 3 things that you need to do to create this event? She's like, okay, so we brainstormed. She's like, why don't you name it? Okay, I can create a name for it. That sounds fine. Find a venue and find a way for people to buy tickets. That's it. That's all you got to do right now. To launch this event, you just need a venue, a name, and a way for people to buy tickets. I was like, okay, that feels pretty manageable. So then I felt like I could take action easily from that. Then when I tackled those 3 things, then it was like, okay, what are the next 3 things? and then the next 3 things. And that's what I do with a lot of my clients when they're launching something new or they're trying to create something new. We just build it up and build it up and build it up. Like I literally was just doing a VIP day with a client last week, and she wanted to, create this new event and offering. And I was like, okay, well, let's go on Amazon and see how much it costs to get this, supply that you need. Oh, okay. Yeah, that seems easy. All right, I can have these ordered tomorrow. Okay. Where would you like to have it? Oh, we know somebody there. Let's send them a voice note right now and just see what the process is to get time booked there. So it's things like that you're then making that progress, and slowly but surely, then you get to the end, you're like, oh my God, I'm done. I did all of this. But when you start small, it's amazing the progress you can make.
Yeah, it's setting the ball in motion and creating momentum, right?
100%.
Take one small step and you see that is successful. Oh, okay, I did that. Then it gives you, I guess, the courage or the
evidence even.
Yes.
Like, I can do this.
Evidence, that's a great word. So I know that we got to go soon. So why don't you tell everybody where they can get your book, where they can find you?
Oh, yes. Okay, so probably the easiest spot to find me is Instagram. That's where I hang out the most. So it's at Amanda Riffee _coaching. And then my book, the book tour, all the things, everything is on my Instagram, but also my website, which is acrprofessionalcoaching.com.
Professional coaching. Okay. Is there anything else you want to share before we have to go?
Just thank you. I always love talking to you. Our conversations are always so good. We're so aligned.
They are. Thank you for having me. We are. And thank you so much for having me on your show. If you guys haven't listened to it, go find Amanda's podcast, Unleashing You, and listen to that, download that show. That was great. Thank you so much. Amanda, you're awesome. We're so lucky to have you here in Castle Rock and to be doing this work and just providing all of this possibility for so many people. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, take care.